Hello, everyone. Today I have a chilling real-life experience from a man named Mr. Nuad. Let me tell you, this is a story full of mystery and suspense about a second-hand house that almost turned his family's life into a living nightmare. It all started when Mr. Nuad decided to buy a second-hand house in Bangkok. On paper, it was perfect. He absolutely loved the layout, especially the fact that the perimeter walls were completely separated from the neighboring houses, giving him a great sense of privacy. But the weirdness began on day one. While he was standing outside checking the place out, he noticed a middle-aged woman, his neighbor from across the street. She was glaring at him with pure hostility. Out of nowhere, she shouted right at his face, "Don't you dare get involved with me." Mr. Nuad was totally confused, but brushed it off, thinking she was just an antisocial neighbor. He went ahead and bought the house anyway. At first, Mr. Nuad moved in alone. His pregnant wife had to wrap up some work before joining him. One night, he stepped out onto his second-floor balcony for some fresh air, and when he looked down at the gap between his wall and the house next door, a house the real estate agent claimed had been empty for a long time, he saw a neighborhood security guard. The guard was just sitting there, eating bread and drinking water right next to the wall. Curious, Mr. Nuad walked downstairs and went outside to check. The guard was gone, but right there on the ground lay an opened bottle of water and a piece of bread with a bite taken off it. He later asked the village management about this, and the truth sent shivers down his spine. That specific security guard had passed away suddenly, right on that exact spot 4 to 5 months ago. What Mr. Nuad saw wasn't a living person, it was an entity consuming the offerings someone had left behind. Shortly after, his pregnant wife finally moved in, and that's when the strange occurrences escalated. One night, while fast asleep, Mr. Nuad suddenly felt a heavy weight on his chest. He couldn't breathe. He forced his eyes open in the pitch dark, only to see a shadowy figure kneeling right on top of him, staring intently into his face. He tried to struggle, but his body was completely paralyzed. Fearing for his pregnant wife sleeping beside him, he managed to force his fingers to gently rub her belly to wake her. As soon as she stirred, the dark figure vanished. The terrifying part, his wife woke up and told him she had just experienced the exact same paralyzing heaviness. It was a clear warning. Whatever was in that place was getting closer to them. But the most horrifying incident happened just a few days later. Mr. Nuad was having a violently vivid nightmare. He dreamt that a strange man broke into the house, trapped him, and was trying to attack him. He fought back with everything he had. But when he jolted awake, reality was far worse than the nightmare. He woke up to find both of his own hands tightly wrapped around his pregnant wife's neck. He was choking her without even realizing it. Shocked out of his mind, he immediately let go. His wife woke up terrified and sobbing. Mr. Nuad realized with horror that he had been possessed, completely losing control to a dark force that wanted to harm his family. The very next night, he didn't dare stay there. He fled to sleep at his mother's house. But even far away, the entity left its mark. When he woke up the next morning, he found dark, red hand-shaped bruises grabbed around his ankles, as if someone had tried to drag him off the bed. That was the breaking point. Mr. Nuad aggressively demanded the truth from his real estate agent and the older residents in the neighborhood. Finally, the dark secret of the closed-off house next door was revealed. Months ago, a couple lived in that neighboring house, a foreign man and his Thai wife. One day, a violent argument broke out.
The husband lost his mind. He committed a horrific act, ending his wife's life and severely harming their own child, leaving the house covered in a tragic scene, before ultimately taking his own life. 3 lives were lost in that house. By the time authorities discovered them, days had passed, and a lingering dark energy had already cast a shadow over the entire street. Remember the angry neighbor from across the street who yelled at him on the first day? The truth was, before Mr. Nuad moved in, the unseen energy from that tragic house had actually possessed her daughter. Her daughter started sleepwalking and almost harmed herself. The neighbor was so terrified that she hired a specialist to perform a spiritual ritual, built a protective shrine, and swore to completely cut ties with anyone in the neighborhood to keep the evil spirits away from her family. Knowing the full, horrifying truth, Mr. Nuad didn't hesitate for a single second. Even though this was his dream house and he had been paying the mortgage for less than a month, he packed up, took his wife, and moved out immediately. He put a for sale sign up the very next day, because he realized one chilling fact. No matter how perfect the house is, if you share a wall with a scene of such a violent tragedy, your family will never, ever find peace.